I would like to call grade 3 students and Rajeshji.
Only about 5 minutes.
Atmanivasi Ram, Atmanivasi Ram, Dasharatha
Nandan
Nandan
Ram Jaya Jaya
Janaki Jeevan Ayodhyavasi Ram, Ayodhyavasi Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki
Jeevan
Aranyavasi Ram, Aranyavasi Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki Jeevan Ahalyo Bharat Ram, Ahalyo Bharat Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Janaki Jeevan Bhaktavatsala Ram, Bhaktavatsala Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki Jeevan Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki Jeevan Ram, Atmanivasi Ram, Atmanivasi Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki Jeevan Ram, Dasharatha Nandan Ram Jaya Jaya Janaki Jeevan Ram, Janaki Jeevan
That was wonderful. Thank you, Rajeshji. Thank you, grade 3 kids. Now I would like to call grade 7 and 8 to please unmute and proceed.
Hariom, we're the 7A class. This year we studied chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita as part of our curriculum. The main idea of this chapter is asking who is dear to God. So we will be chanting verses of this chapter that answer this question. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami. So the first one is he who is friendly and compassionate to everyone and who is detached from the feeling of himself and is even-minded in pain and pleasure.
I'm Shreya, and I'm going to be taking the next two verses. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridha nischayaha mayarpitamano buddhir yo madbhakta same priyaha yasma nodvijate loko loka nodvijate chayaha harsha marsha bayodveger mukto yasachame priyaha. These two lines are saying that whoever is who doesn't let their emotions basically get to them is dear to Lord Rama.
Anapekshaha suchirdakka udashino gata vyaktaha sarva ramba parityagi yumadbhaktaha same priyaha. This one means he who has no wants, who is pure and prompt, who is selfless, is devoted to Rama, is dear to Rama. यो नो हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि नो शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् स मे प्रियः. He who neither rejoices nor hates nor grieves nor desires, who is full of devotion, he is dear to Rama.
Samasatra cha mitre cha tatamana pamayo sitosna sukodukesu samasanga vivarjitaha. So someone who treats a friend and enemy in the same, and also a person that is honored and dishonored is the same, and a person that is the same in the cold and heat, pleasure and pain, and is free from attachment is dear to Lord Rama. तुल्यानन्दस्य Moni santusto yena kenachit aniketas titir matir bhaktiman me priyo naraha. And someone who blame and praise are equal to, and is silent, content with anything, and free of selfish attachment, and is steady minded and full of devotion, is dear to Lord Rama.
ये तु धर्ममृतमेदं हेतोक्तं परिभासते भक्तास्तेऽतीव मे प्रियः. Those who follow this immortal dharma describe above with devotion and faith upon looking upon Rama as the supreme goal, dear to Rama.
That was so nice. Thank you, grade 7 and 8. Thank you for coming and participating. We had a wonderful session yesterday. Ashokji enlightened us about Lord Rama as ideal student, ideal husband, and how life of Lord Rama teaches us how standard of living must be balanced with standard of life. Now I request Ashokji to please take us forward and more close to Lord Rama. Ashokji.
Hari Om. So Hari Om to all. It was a great performance by the third graders, seventh graders, and the Gita chanting and improvisation, changing Krishna to Rama. Very, very, very nice. Okay, so we'll start with the prayers first. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. आपदामपहर्तारं धातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्. Next we'll sing the Mangala Charanam of Tulsi Ramayana. यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमशैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवां बोधे स्थितिर्षावताम् वन्देऽहं सतमशेषकारणपरम् रामाख्यमीशं हरिम् रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्. So we saw yesterday the meaning of this Mangala Charanam, where the Lord Rama is praised as the wielder of Maya. He is not enchanted by this world because he clearly understands that this world is just an appearance on that Brahman, the substratum, and belongs to the realm of Mithya. And for us to cross this ocean of samsara, the only way is to hold on to the feet of the Lord. So, what does this mean? Hold on to the feet of the Lord, right? So, here we have to surrender ourselves to the Lord and let Him play the flute through this body, through me. So, you perform your actions as if you are an instrument of the Lord and perform your actions in the spirit of karma yoga, meaning you do your actions without being attached to the fruits of your action and without the sense of doership. And whatever comes to you, you take it as prasada buddhi from the Lord. So once we act in this world, holding on to the to the feet of Lord Rama, our mind becomes purified. And when the mind is ready, Lord Rama himself sends Shastra and Guru to me. And through the learnings of the Shastra, I can cross the ocean of samsara. And I should also thank Giridhar for summarizing yesterday very nicely all the main points. So I'll just touch upon some of the key points. The first and foremost, when you think of Lord Rama, is his equanimity. Even in today's shlokas, we saw the power of equanimity. Only the person who has equanimity is dear to Lord Rama. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So when Dasaratha told Rama that you're going to be the crown prince of Ayodhya, he didn't say, yeah, oh, yeah, that's great. And he didn't go for a party, right? Instead, he didn't even have a smile. And he said, oh, Father, whatever is your order, I will execute. Then the next day, Dasaratha talks through Kaikeyi, saying that your father wishes two boons from you. One, that Bharata be the crown prince, and two, that you, Rama, should go to the forest. Was he sad? Was he angry? He was as calm as yesterday, the day before, the previous day, where his father told him that he is going to be the crown prince. It is said that his face was as fresh as a blooming lotus. So this is what is called as samatvam. Whenever you hear a great news, or whenever you hear a sad news, okay, we should not get overly elated or overly dejected. It's okay to have an initial reaction, but immediately you should have the composure and maintain a perfect balance. And this is so very important for all of us. This lesson that Rama has exemplified is so important for all of us, because from students to adults, all of us face ups and downs in life, right? And so each time when we face these things, we have to be calm, we have to be relaxed. And only then we can learn. If at all I have committed any mistake, I should learn from it and move on. So it all depends on how quick all of us fall, but the wise one gets up and runs quickly. It all depends on how fast we can get up and run. And if we follow if we follow Lord Rama, we'll be able to do it as how he did. He did it. Then we saw Rama as a student, right? Where he was a personification of brahmacharya, or self-control. So this is the student life is the most important part of everybody's life. We have so many kids today in this session. For all of you, this is the time you have to spend your time wisely. Your main goal is to study and to uh, make you make yourself a rounded personality. Be good in sports, be good in arts, be good in studies. Any other distraction, drop it. Okay, so that's what Rama taught us as a student. Then, as a son, we saw how he was able to, whatever his father said, he was ready to execute. And we saw this example of him being the Yuvaraja, and the next day, him going to the forest, Lord Rama going to the forest. And he was a loving husband. There was genuineness in the relationship between Sita and Rama. And that genuineness is enough for a highly, highly successful marriage. You don't have to give flowers. You don't have to say, I love you, honey, every day. You don't have to keep repeating those things. If your love between two people, and this is also for all the kids too, all your friends, okay, you should genuinely love your friends. When you genuinely love your friends, you'll be able to enjoy their company and grow together successfully in life. Okay, so that was the brief synopsis from yesterday. Now we will see Rama as the ideal leader. X-ray vision, right? What is X-ray vision? The ability to see something which cannot be easily seen or easily seen through naked eyes. So Rama and Lakshmana are heading towards Kishkinda, right? So Kishkinda is the place where you have the great Vali and also Sugriva living. And Sugriva was actually hiding from Vali, and then he sees Rama and Lakshmana coming. And always Sugriva is suspecting that Vali is playing tricks on him. So he thinks that Vali is coming towards him in the form of Rama. Okay, or he has sent some messengers to kill Sugriva. So he gets all wired up. Then Hanumanji is there, and he sees Rama and Lakshmana, and he comforts Sugriva. He says, these people look very divine. They cannot be friends of Vali, or they cannot be Vali himself. So let me go and find out who they are. So he goes in the guise of a Brahmin, okay, and he meets he goes and meets Rama. So as soon as he goes there, taking the form of a Brahmana, Hanuman approaches Rama and Lakshmana, and Rama felt a unique sense of attraction and love for Hanuman. This is called as X-ray vision. As soon as he saw Hanuman, he knew that Hanuman was a great person. And the same way, as soon as as soon as Hanuman saw Rama, he knew it was the Lord. So this is what is X-ray vision. And today, suppose you're a leader, when you meet people, you interview people for your company, you look at their resume, all that is good, but you have to go beyond their resume and try to connect with their inner personality. So you will understand truly how great of a person this person is, right? So, sorry. So Hanuman says, तापरमय रघुबीर दोहाई जानवु नहीं कच्छु भजन उपाई सेवक सुतपति मातु भरोसे रही असोच बनई प्रभु पोसे. He says, Hanuman says, on top of it, I swear, O Raghuvira, I know neither adoration or any means to please you. That means it is impossible to please you. A servant depends upon the master, and a child depends on his mother. And when, because of this total dependence, they are free, right? A child knows that the parent is going to take, the mother is going to take care of him, all right? And the same way, a servant knows that the master is going to take care of him or her. So, Lord, I am your servant. I know you're going to take care of me. That's what Hanumanji tells Rama. So something in his heart said that Hanuman would be the savior. Rama, looking at Hanuman, something in his heart clicks. And Rama tells Lakshmana, brother, the speech of Hanuman has inspired me with confidence, and I trust him absolutely. Did you notice the beauty of the language that he used and how correct and how rhythmic his enunciation was? So he speaks like the one who has mastered the Vedas and the science of grammar. Hanuman is going to be the ideal messenger for us. He whom we are in search has come in search of us. That's how great Rama felt about Hanuman. So he was able to see through Hanuman and see the glory behind Hanuman. And that is what is called as X-ray vision. Okay. So a leader, how does it apply to me? A leader should be able to spot talent very quickly. For the young kids who are out there, you should be able to figure out who is going to be your good friend. And you should make friends with good people. You should have that feeling that this person is going to be good to me, right? So that is called as X-ray vision. We have to go beyond words. Okay. So ideal leader, this is the next aspect of an ideal leader, a choice between dharma and adharma. So Vali was a person of great valor and strength. It is said for Sandhya Vandanam, he would not take water from the tap. He would go to the 7 oceans and take water for his Sandhya Vandanam. So powerful he was. And Ravana was kindled by Narada once. He said, Narada tells Ravana, you think you're so strong. Have you seen Vali? And so he kindles Ravana. So Ravana wants to now prove that he is stronger than Vali, right? So Ravana comes to Vali, and Vali just humbles Ravana just by the strength of his tail. He just wraps Ravana around and makes him like a toy, right? He grows up in size, and Ravana looks like a puny toy. But then later on, Ravana and Vali become friends, right? But look at the power of Vali. So Rama had a choice. Now he had to choose his team to fight Ravana, right? So now here in Kishkinda, he had a choice between Vali and Sugriva. And choosing Vali would have been street smart, because Vali is of great strength. He had already made Ravana feel so small. If Rama selects Vali, success is sure. But then Vali was very adharmic. He used to bully his brother Sugriva, and he actually took Sugriva's wife as a captive and made Sugriva, run all over the place. It is said that Sugriva ran around the world trying to escape Vali's wrath. Is it dharma or adharma? Right? This is adharma. So, and Rama knew this. And so he decided, I'm going to take Sugriva and not Vali, even though victory would have been assured if he had taken Vali. So always this is the standard that Sri Rama sets. Always, when I have to take a decision, you have to take a decision, we have to take a decision. If you go by dharma, making the decision will be very easy. Be honest to yourself. Okay, so this is the mark of a great leader. A great leader should always be a dharmic. So same thing. Vibhishana was requesting Ravana to give up Sita, but he would not listen. So Vibhishana left, and where did he come? He came to Rama, and Rama accepted him. So wherever dharma is, we should be on that side. In the case of Krishna, he chose Pandavas to Kauravas. Kauravas stood for adharma, Pandavas stood for dharma. But Bhishma and Drona, they made a mistake. They chose to be on the side of Duryodhana instead of Yudhishthira. So they actually chose adharma over dharma. And Balarama, he liked both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. But luckily for him, he made the choice not to side with anybody, but to be neutral. So in life, we should also do this same thing. We should always be in the path of dharma. If we are in the path of dharma, whatever you do, you will be able to do it well, you will be able to do it peacefully, and ultimately you will succeed. Choosing dharma is choosing the path of shreyas versus prayas, path of the pleasant, path of the good over the path of the pleasant. In path of the good, you may face a lot of difficulties. Path of the pleasant might be very easy in the beginning. So it's very alluring. It is so attractive. It's like, for example, when I'm taking an exam, I have to study very hard and get the grade. That's taking the path of the good. Path of the pleasant is trying to cheat in the exam. So you will be able to maybe immediately get some good grades, but later on in life, since you have not learned, you will not be able to apply and be successful in your job. So ultimately, in the long run, the path of dharma, the path of shreyas, the path of the good, this alone will give you ultimate success. So always our vision should be for the long run, not satisfying near term or short term goals. Okay. Ideal leader. We are again looking at ideal leader. Another qualification, ideal team builder. Rama was an ideal team builder. So even in life, we have to build a good team around us. Just just me alone being very good and surrounding myself with people who are not so good, you will never be able to achieve. You have to surround yourself with good people. That's why satsang is very important. Satsang with great people, learned people is extremely important. So what kind of team? Now Rama had a mission, right? He had to go and reinstate dharma in Lanka. He had to get rid of Ravana. He had to go and get Sita. So he had to put a great team. He knew that he alone is not going to be able to do it, right? So what kind of team he did? He built. First in Kishkinda, he took Sugriva. Who was Sugriva? A Vanara, a monkey. But Sugriva was full of love and righteous. Same thing, Hanuman. Hanuman was also a Vanara, right? But all of us know the glory of Hanuman, right? And Rama himself, when he saw Hanuman, he knew he was the man who was going to redeem Sita. And all of us know the difficulties that Hanuman faced when he crossed the ocean to go to Lanka, and he overcame all those difficulties, and then he went to Lanka and fulfilled the mission of finding Sita and giving a stern warning to Ravana. Right? So you have Sugriva, Hanuman, then Jambavan. Jambavan was a very experienced person, an elderly person, but extremely experienced. So you need to have experienced people, wise people in your team. Jambavan was an example of that. Angada, the son of Vali, who was a great leader, great statesman. Okay, so he was able to put all these people, bring all these people together. Then Vibhishana, when Vibhishana crossed over from Ravana to Rama, a lot of people did not know what to do. They all thought that Rama was going that Vibhishana was like a spy sent by Ravana. But when Hanuman had a very good feeling for him, because when Hanuman went to Lanka and he was parading, as he was parading the streets of Lanka, he saw a very heavenly house with lights lit, and the sound of Ram was coming because Vibhishana was actually chanting the name of Rama. And then so he said, there should be a good person in this house. So he goes into the house and talks to Vibhishana. And he is so happy to find a person like Vibhishana in Lanka with values and love for Rama. And he tells this to Rama when he comes back. So Rama knows who Vibhishana is. So when he comes, he takes him so that he not only honors Vibhishana for his honesty, but also will be able to help the team to find the inner workings of the Ravana army, right? So this is the kind of team that Rama put together. So every person, okay, has a unique quality. Nobody is actually useless. So we should be able to leverage this unique quality in every person. And Rama was very adept at this one. So with the help of the Vanara army, he was able to win over Ravana. So even if a person's skill, okay, let us say, is not immediately required, Rama would create a special position so that the person can be used. So what happens after the person leaves? If need be, he may close the department. This is a management style. In management, this is called as shared vision, where you have a vision, but then your vision expands to include the vision of others. You never know when an idea is going to click. And this is the basis of innovation. Innovation is to encourage ideas, unique ideas, outside of the box ideas. Okay, so that maybe 3 or 4 of that might click, right? So you should be able to you, live with a shared vision. So Rama listened to everyone. If anyone came to talk to him, he would make them feel very special. How? By listening very intently to them. And this is what we should all also do. In life, we should listen to other people, especially people who are wise. But actually, we do the contrary. We do more talking than listening because we want to show our ideas. We want to exhibit our ideas to others, and we are not willing to listen. A great leader is one who listens silently and who absorbs and takes the good points. And Rama was very good at that. So, by listening to everybody, you can then build up leadership by consensus. And everybody feels that they are part of the team. So the goal should, and also Rama made sure that everybody knew what the goal was. The goal should be known to everybody in your team. Why are you working here? If you ask somebody, I don't know, I'm just doing my job. Such a person in the team is not going to be of that much of helpful. No enthusiasm, doesn't know what to do, just will keep doing what is told. You don't want to have people like that. And that is not the problem of the person, it's actually the problem of the team leader. The team leader has not clearly communicated to everyone what is the goal of the team, right? So Rama was a great leader in that way. He made sure that everybody knew why they were going to Lanka. Taking Sita is only secondary. The first thing is to reinstate Dharma in Lanka. Ravana was creating havoc and leading a very adharmic life, so he had to get rid of Ravana. So this was the vision of why they were going to Lanka, and everybody knew it. So you no need to get management points from management courses. Just read Ramayanam, and Ramayanam can contribute to the success of your management. Okay. Ideal leader, interpersonal relationship. Another aspect of leadership is interpersonal relationship. See, everyone is connected to the hub, right? So let us say, like Vibhishana and Rama. What do you mean by everybody was connected to the hub? Vibhishana had a good relationship with Rama. Sugriva had a good relationship with Rama. Hanuman had a good relationship with Rama. Jambavan had, and all the Vanaras had good relationship. But that alone is not enough. There should also be good relationship between the people. Like Hanuman should have good relationship with Lakshmana. Sugriva should have good relationship with Lakshmana. Vibhishana should have good relationship with Angada. So everybody should feel as if they are part of one big family. So here we'll see one instance where Rama's leadership quality in this area excelled. So Sugriva loved Rama because he killed Vali. His focus was on Rama, but he totally ignored Lakshmana. Whenever Rama came, he would offer seat for Rama, but he would not do anything for Lakshmana. He would bring coffee for Rama, but not for Lakshmana. And Rama notices this. And how did Rama handle it? He could have just told Sugriva, Sugriva, you need to be friends with Rama also. You need to, with Lakshmana also. You need to respect Lakshmana. But he wanted to create a situation. he did not want to give instructions. That's also a mark of a leader. So when the time was ready, Rama told Sugriva, now I'm ready to kill Vali. You challenge Vali, and I will kill Vali from behind a tree. So Sugriva challenges Vali, and there is a huge fight that happens between Vali and Sugriva. And both of them giving their very best. But Sugriva was losing his team. And he knew like Vali was all over him, and he was wondering why Rama is not shooting the arrow. And then finally, he actually had to run for his life. So when he came to Rama, he said, "Oh Rama, why did you not shoot?" Rama tells Sugriva that, I was not able to figure out who is Vali and who is Sugriva. And so then they come up with a plan. And this is where now Rama takes advantage of the situation now. He tells, "Oh Lakshmana, make a beautiful garland for Sugriva." And so Lakshmana makes a very nice garland, colorful, bright, and strong. Because the garland has to withstand the fight, right? If the garland falls off or withers off during the fight, then you're in the same boat again. So he makes a nice garland, and Sugriva notices this. How uh, with a lot of attention, lot of care, and lot of love, Lakshmana was making this garland. And then when Lakshmana puts this garland on Sugriva, Sugriva's attitude and relationship with Lakshmana changes instantly. And that is how, and from then on, both of them were great friends. So this is how Rama built the team. Like people not only respected Rama, but they also respected each other. So as a family, they went to fight this war. So this is a very important um, uh, point in management, even for us. We have to make sure that the people who are working with us, all of them are friendly with each other, just not with me alone. Some styles of leadership is okay. You purposely create situations where that the person A and person B, you make sure they don't get pally, because you feel if they get too strong, they might scheme and overpower you, right? So this is like having security issues with your own self, lack of security. An insecure manager would do such things, but that is not good for teamwork. We should follow Rama's way. Value-based leadership. Rama was again great at this. Ravana heard that the Vanara army has arrived in Lanka. So he wanted to take a view of the army. So with his ministers, he goes to the top of his palace to survey Rama's army. So one of the minister explains to Ravana. So you see that person in the middle, shining like the sun, he is Rama. He is the person who killed Vali. Then he shows Hanuman, who had created havoc in Lanka. Then, do you see that person Jambavan? The minister tells uh, Ravana, the wisest among men. So he is explaining everything. Suddenly, Sugriva rushes towards Ravana from Rama's side, and he starts flying all around Ravana, and Ravana somehow protected himself, and then he flies back, and Rama sees that, and he gets so upset. and then he calls Sugriva. Rama was not upset because Sugriva went there. He tells Sugriva, "Oh Sugriva, if Ravana had killed you, I would have lost a brother. Life would be meaningless to me. I would make sure once the war, if you had died, I would make sure I would go make sure everything is okay in Ayodhya, and then go to the forest and then uh, take my life away because I can't live without you." That was the kind of relationship he had with people. And when Sugriva heard this, his heart melted. So the core value of our, our personality should be love. And only then everything else should be built over that. And Rama was great. He loved everyone. Then you have to send the right person for the right job. So before the war, Rama sends Angada as a messenger. So, so Sri Rama sends Angada to announce the intent of this war. Why did he not send Hanuman? He could have sent Hanuman, right? So this mission was a diplomatic mission. Okay, it was not a search mission; it was a diplomatic mission, and Angada was a great diplomat, being the son of a king of Wali. So he chose Angada over Hanuman. Second, if he had chosen Hanuman, Ravana would think, looks like Rama does not have anybody other than Hanuman, right? That would give him more courage and strength. So, so Rama rightly chose Angada for this job. So it's very important to have the right person for the right job. Mark of a good leader. Then a leader should recognize people. Okay, Rama gives, when everything is over after the coronation, Rama gives a pearl necklace to Sita ji, and then he tells Sita, give this necklace to anyone who you think is great. Obviously, Sita had a special love for Hanuman, and she gives the necklace to Hanuman. Then it's Rama's turn to give something. So Rama turns around to Hanuman and says, "There is nothing that I can give you that will befit your greatness, O Hanuman. I give myself to you." And so saying, he hugs Hanuman. And look at this picture, a full hug. You cannot see even an inch of gap between the two. What else is needed in life when the Lord Himself takes you in His arms? That is the biggest gift you can ever get. So it would be great if we also can get a hug from the Lord, right? Actually, it is very easy to do that. You just have to hold on to the feet of the Lord, and that will give you immense strength, immense peace, and will help you to cross this ocean of samsara. So that these were from a leadership perspective, um, we've seen Rama. Now, ideal friend, right? So who is a friend? Today, what happens? You work for a boss, then another person works for a boss. And one morning, the boss calls you and he's upset with you and really fires you, tells you, how did you do this? And he's very angry, upset. And then you come out of the room. Then after a week, it happens to another colleague, and you notice this. And then when the colleague is coming out, right, he says, last week I was fired, this week you are fired, so let us become friends. That's not how we should become friends. Or you say, we are, I'm going to Chinmaya mission, you're going to Chinmaya mission, let us become friends, right? That is also not the best way of becoming friends. Friend is someone, okay, you can talk to and share without any reservations. When you're when your friend, when you're a friend, when your friend is in difficulty, you should extend your hands to him. And when you're in difficulty, he should extend his hands to you. That's why childhood friendship lasts for life. It is just based on pure love. It's not based because of this, because of that, because of this. Never. Because you just love each other and you're friends, and that kind of friendship um, uh, lasts a whole lifetime. So who is a friend? He should have the courage to point out any mistake, even if it means that the friendship may be broken. Should always show the right path. You should be able to keep a secret. You share a lot of secrets with your friend for 25 years. Something happens and your friendship is broken. Then he turns around and writes a book on you. This is not called friendship. This is not, this doesn't mean, this is not having a good friend. When you're in difficulty, he should be able to help. So friend is actually is a gift from God. Krishna and Kuchela, their friendship was so divine. So love, so let us see the nature of friendship. Love from higher to a lower is attachment. That is just like the love that father has towards the son. Love from lower to higher, okay, is um, is respect. The love which a son has towards the father. And the love between an equal and an equal, that is called as friendship. Three great friends of Rama. They were not people of great tapas or great fame or great wealth, but they were friends who were ready to give life for Rama, and Rama was ready to give life for them. First is Guha from the fisherman community. Second, Sugriva from the Vanara community. And third, Vibhishana from Rakshasa community. So see the diversity of friendships. This is a lesson in diversity. We should be able to accept anybody as our friend as long as they have this basic love between you. And that's what Rama showed. So let's first look at the friendship between Rama and Guha. So Guha was the first person Rama met when entering the forest. And as soon as he saw Guha, as he spotted Guha, Rama went and hugged Guha, and Guha hugged Rama because they knew each other before. Guha offered Rama, he said, you can stay here for 14 years and you can be the king of this place. Okay. But then Rama refused it. He said, no, I have to go to the forest and I have to live there. Then that night, Guha brings on the first day a variety of food. Rama did not touch, not even a bit. All that he had was water. Then Guha made a very comfortable bed for Rama, so that Rama and Sita could have a good night's sleep. And that whole night, Guha and Lakshmana spent talking about the glory of Rama. So this was the kind of friendship that Rama had with Guha. Then ideal friend Sugriva. So credit goes to Hanuman for the friendship of Sugriva and Rama. Because first, what did Sugriva think? Sugriva thought that Rama was um, a, um, a friend of Vali and was coming there to kill him. And only then, once Hanuman went to do his fact finding, he figured out that it was Rama, person with divine qualities. So Rama and Sugriva needed each other. Sugriva needed Rama to kill Vali, and and Rama needed Sugriva to help defeat Ravana and bring back Sita. So Vali was a very powerful warrior, right? So out of concern for Rama, Sugriva wanted to understand. So this is, look at Sugriva's friendship. He wanted to understand. He did not want to put Rama in in a in a place where the Rama would get killed or Rama would get defeated. So he says, I need to know, I want you, I don't want to put you into trouble. And so Rama, then, to get Sugriva's confidence, Sri Rama shot an arrow which pierced through 7 banyan trees. Banyan trees are huge. It pierces 7 banyan trees, and then it comes back to the quiver. And Sugriva is now confident that Rama can kill Vali. And of course, all of us know Rama killed Vali. Now, and then Sugriva was actually reinstated as the king of Kishkinda. As a king, Sugriva started to indulge and he forgot about Rama. Rama then had to send for Sugriva. Sugriva comes and immediately falls at Rama's feet. And Rama tells Sugriva, "Oh Sugriva, you have to be a king," meaning you have to take care of the kingdom. You have to take care of your people. Instead, you are indulging in all kinds of pleasures. So what was Rama doing? Sugriva was going in the wrong direction. And as a friend, he had to tell this so that he can come into the right path. Right? So that is again a mark of friendship. And Sugriva was so grateful because he knew he was making a mistake. Ideal friend Vibhishana. Okay? We already talked about Vibhishana. So here we will see here when Vibhishana walked out of Ravana, he had nowhere to go. And then he comes to Rama. Anyone who surrenders to Rama, he shall be protected. That is the nature of Rama. Against all odds from the rank and file, everyone was against this. Sugriva was against it, and Angada was against it. But then Rama knew that Vibhishana was a great person. So he welcomes him, and later on, Rama could have taken over Lanka because he won the war, but he makes Vibhishana as the king of Lanka. Right? So we can see the greatness of Rama here. Ideal brother. So all the brothers, when they were growing up, they had a very strong relationship. Especially Rama and Lakshmana had a great relationship. Bharata and Shatrughna had a great relationship. Once Ravana was killed, Rama comes back to the kingdom, right? Becomes the king of Ayodhya. And he could have just given all the brothers certain positions. But that's not what Rama did. Rama made sure that all the brothers had kingdoms of their own and were independent. Sri Rama did not keep them under his control. That is the mark of a great person, great kingship. Whatever guidance was needed, he would give it to the brothers. So let's see relationship between the brothers now. Rama and the brothers. Ideal brother Shatrughna. Bharata and Shatrughna returned to Ayodhya. And when they heard the news that the father had died and Rama has gone to the forest, both of them are shaken up. Then they come to know more details and they come to know that Mantra was behind this whole thing. Shatrughna beats up Mantra and she starts to roll on the ground like a spring. Bharata at that time tells Shatrughna, you should not do this. You know why? Because Rama will not like it. So Rama is the victim here, but Bharata says Rama will not like it. And so he said, Bharata says, I also feel the same way towards Mother Kaikeyi, but we should not do it because Sri Rama will not like it. So Bharata, Kaikeyi's own son, is willing to punish Kaikeyi, but not Rama. So immediately Shatrughna stops, and this news goes to Rama, right? And then when both Bharata and Shatrughna meet Rama in the forest, Rama is so angry at Shatrughna, and he says, how could you do this to Mantra? When you go back, you should apologize to her, make sure she is taken care of, and brings Shatrughna takes him in the right direction. And for this, Shatrughna was always very grateful because he knew that he had made a mistake, and Rama made sure that such mistakes, especially his own brother, should not commit. Then you have this relationship between Rama and Bharata. So Bharata goes to the forest to bring back Sri Rama. On the way, he meets Guha. Guha is skeptical why Bharata has come, especially with his army. Then when he talks to Bharata, Guha is happy to see Bharata's noble intention. Guha then shows the kusa grass bed on which Rama and Sita had slept when they visited Guha, and tears rolls out of Bharata's face. He resolves to live like a hermit and live outside of Ayodhya. And Guha is so touched by Bharata, and he says, even 1,000 Ramas cannot equal Bharata. So when we see the relationship, we have to also see the relationship of Bharata. Then Bharata meets Rama and begs for him to come back. But Rama is very stern. Bharata, you are the king of Ayodhya, and I am the king of the forest. An ordinary person would have taken advantage of the situation and taken the opportunity to become the king, but not Rama. Rama then gives detailed instructions to Bharata on how to rule Ayodhya. He says, you must pay your people properly and on time. When great people come to Ayodhya, you should welcome them, entertain them, and listen to them. When you discuss with ministers, make sure that discussions are kept a secret. Keep your opinions and strategies to yourself. Give it out only at the appropriate time. Like this, he gave so many instructions to Bharata. Anyone in management will appreciate and can learn can learn from what Rama tells Bharata, and he freely shares this knowledge. An ordinary person would hold knowledge, right? Because you don't want to give your secrets to sometimes even your own brother. So because we feel insecure, what if this person is going to take my job? So Tulsidas ji, sings this, paints the situation beautifully. Bharatasil Guru Sachiva Samaju Sakucha Saneha Bibasar Guraju Prabhu Kari Kripa Pavarin Dinhi Sadara Bharata Sisadari Linhi. Seeing Bharata's plight, the all compassionate Rama gives his sandals to Bharata. And then see what Tulsidas, he says, the glory of the sandals. Charan pita karuna nidhan ke, jan juga jamika praja pran ke, samputha bharata saneha ratan ke, आकर जुग जनु जीव जतन के. So that sandals of Lord Rama are like two commanders entrusted to protect Ayodhya. That's one explanation. Or a pair of caskets to enshrine the love Bharata had for Rama. Or it stands for the two syllables Ra and Ma that can liberate a jiva. So before leaving, Bharata tells Rama, if you do not come back in 14 years, then I will kindle a fire and jump into it. Bharata takes Bharata takes Rama's Paduka and he tells Rama that these Padukas will rule Ayodhya and not Bharata. Now comes the most interesting part. 14 years passes by. Rama is about to enter Ayodhya in his Pushpaka Vimanam. Then he tells Hanuman, go and tell Bharata that I will be there in a few hours. And when you tell that, watch Bharata's face. Even if he is a wee bit sad, come and tell me, I will give the kingdom back to Bharata. Because Bharata was ruling the place for 14 years. And he would have gotten used to power and luxury, right? Even though he was hermit. So he might feel sad, oh, this is going away from me. Rama did not want Bharata to be even a wee bit sad. That's why he said, even if you see a little sadness in Bharata's face, tell me, I will not go back there. That was the greatness of the love between Bharata and Rama. So ideal brother, what about Lakshmana, right? Lakshmana was an incarnation of Sheshnag, and Sheshnag is inseparable from Vishnu. So wherever Vishnu goes, Sheshnag will be there. So that's why when Vishnu took avatar as Rama, the Sheshnag took avatar as Lakshmana. So Lakshmana guarded Rama with his life. For 14 years, Lakshmana did not sleep. When Meghnad struck Lakshmana, Rama was ready to drop the war and even forsake Sita. No gain was comparable to Lakshmana's loss. That was the kind of love that Rama had for Lakshmana. So we will stop here And in the next class, we will see more aspects of our great Rama. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Ashokji, would you like to take some questions today?
Yeah, I can take, no problem.
So if anybody have any question, you can ask to Ashokji.
What happens when Vishnu is flying on Garuda?
Dhawal Sheshna. But he knows that he's going to come back, right?
Yeah.
Only when he is going to go for a long term, then Seshnag will, when Lord Vishnu is as Lord Vishnu, Seshnag will be as Seshnag. When Lord Vishnu takes avatar, then Seshnag will also take an avatar.
Thank you, Ashokji.
Part that gets confusing a little bit, like the Samatva part of Rama.
Uh-huh.
And then we also in the story, then we see, oh, he was pining for Sita, or he was willing to give up the war because Sri Lakshmana was not possibly would die. So then sometimes my brain interprets as attachment, and then like, okay, where does the Samatva come into play, and then how does Lord Rama react that way, and it gets confusing to understand him.
Right. Rama is actually portrayed, like Valmiki portrays Rama as a person, right? So even a great jnani, when something unpleasant happens, it's not that they are going to be totally indifferent to it. Okay, they will have and show emotions, but they will not get emotional. Okay, so Rama, he showed emotions, but he still continued what he had to do, right? He actually helped Sugriva to become the king, and then he put this great team together and killed Ravana, not because he wanted Sita. See, that is consequential, but to reinstate dharma. So he did all those jobs. So that's why I said all of us, even a jnani, will fall down. But how quickly we can get up and run, that will show you whether you're a jnani or an ajnani. And that's why even Hanuman, yesterday I said, right? Hanuman also had the same question. And then when he met Sita, he could see the Sita being a person of virtues. And then he comes and tells Rama, how come you did not cry more? Because she's such a great person and you've lost such a great person, only so much you cried. He also had the same question, why did you cry so much? But when he saw Sita, the question changed. Okay.
There was one more question in my mind was, were the time frames different during Ramayana time, like in terms of the ashramas that we hear? 25 years, 25 years, 25 years, roughly something like that.
Yeah, because that time, like Rama lived for like 10,000 years. Yeah, the time frame will differ. Yes. Yeah. It seems after he once he gave up the kingdom, he became the king, he gave up the kingdom, he then spent about 10,000 years doing yajnas and living in the forest.
I had a question too. What does dharmic and adharmic mean?
Dharmic means doing things that are honest, things that are right. Okay, so for example, hugging your brother is dharmic. Yes. Being mean to him is adharmic. Right? Yes. See? So, because when you're mean to him, he doesn't like it, right? But when you hug him, he likes it. So, whatever you do, first you have to make sure the other person is comfortable. And then you are comfortable. Then you will have a beautiful relationship with your brother, with your friends, and everyone. Yes, way to go.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
So, I guess we are done for the question. So we can end it right now, Shubji.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and Hariom everyone. Thanks for coming.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Bye.
Hari Om. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
See you all tomorrow for the family puja. Hari Om.